happy holidays. And I just want to acknowledge my team who has done a great job helping to put these together. And I also want to acknowledge Councilmember Reesley, also in the House, just visiting to see what this is all about, as well as my Deputy Chief of Staff, Ryan Trujillo. So this marks the last press briefing of the year. I really do appreciate you all taking time out of your day to be here to capture some of the important initiatives that the city is working on. And speaking of the initiatives that the city is working on, because this is the last press briefing for the year, it feels right to pause, to take a moment to reflect on what we've accomplished last year, as well as to give you a sneak peek of what's to come in the new year. So I'll be sharing 5 key moments from 2023 and 5 key goals we'll be tackling in 2024 through a method called strategic doing. So first of all, let's look back and to look at the last few months from 2023. It's hard to really pick 5. So I actually cheated. I'm going to make it 6. So hang with me. So the first one is really personal. It's more of a personal reflection. I didn't realize it at the moment, but as I've talked to people across the city and nation and even in the world, I realized that what we did in this past May and June in the city of Colorado Springs is special. And I'm talking about my historic win, and I'm talking about our historic win. Make no mistake about it, my win is Colorado Springs' win. And to get so many people who supported my campaign and who really supported the vision of putting our quality of life over party politics was really special. It's more than just me being the first Black immigrant mayor. It really is a story of Colorado Springs and the story we're telling on a national level. I remember June 6th, the swearing in ceremony and the backdrop of the big U.S. flag and so many people out there to celebrate this vision of an inclusive, culturally rich, economically prosperous, safe and vibrant city on a hill that shines brightly. And I promised that we would hit the ground running, and that's what we did from day one, and we have not slowed down. Okay, number 2, breaking records. We celebrated several records this year, and 3 of them I want to share that are really impactful. The city, in partnership with City Council, signed 9 economic development agreements. 5 of those economic development agreements are local businesses expanding in the city. So that's really significant. So this means a lot of things, but the bottom line is these high-paying jobs means greater opportunities for our residents. The second record, too, that we've broken is the Mountain Metro. We achieved our highest ridership this summer, thanks to the state grant supporting the free fares. This summer, about 1 million riders took advantage of the free fares. And in August, we saw an all-time record of about 367,000 riders. And the third record that I'd like to share is with the Colorado Springs Airport, as we continue to hit historic highs in the number of visitors that are flying out of the Colorado Springs Airport. So to date, we have 2.4 million passengers that have traveled through our Colorado Springs Airport. And since we're in the holiday season, I'll be remiss to not mention that Please Fly COS. You will get half off your long-term parking between November 20th and January 2nd. All right, number 3, progress with public safety. We do have a pathway to get into our authorized strength of 818 officers that we need by the end of 2024. This is significant. We will be having 4 academies in the new year: February 12th, May 20th, September 2nd, and December 9th. So 4 academies, and we believe by the end of next year, we will get to full authorized strength. That's pretty significant because not a lot of communities are able to say that. And as we know, the industry it's hard right now to be law enforcement officers. And so when it comes to recruitment and retention, those things are really things that we must pay attention to, and we will continue to pay attention to, and also good training. All right, I'm also happy to report that our 2023 numbers are trending in the right direction. Check this out. Burglaries are down 13%. Burglary of motor vehicles, down 7%. Other types of theft are down 1%. Not a big percentage, but hey, we'll take it. We are seeing an uptick in motor vehicle theft during the holidays, so please do not leave your gift items in your cars. Murders are down 36%. Robberies are down 8%. I'm happy to report that there's still strong support for public safety, even though we did not win the ballot issue 2A initiative. The fact remains that there's still a need for this training facility, as our community asking for more training from our officers, and our officers are also asking for more training. So this project is moving forward, and I'm happy to share that this week what will be delivered to my desk is a needs assessment that will help determine the location and also an assessment of what needs that we need in this new training academy. We're also exploring collaboration with other local partners to ensure that we are maximizing our taxpayer dollars. Number 4, we are delivering on public infrastructure. You see, much of the work the city does and execute for its residents is building and maintaining our public infrastructure. So 2023 proved that investing in our stormwater infrastructure was critical. We had those historic rainfall in the spring, and if not of that, our residents' investment, the story would have been a different story. I'm happy to report that the 2C Road Improvement Program, which began in 2015, we have repaved enough miles from all the way from our city to Athens, Georgia, but we also know to catch up with the backlog of 30 years of roads and neighborhood roads that need to be repaved, we need to keep repaving all the way to Athens, Greece. I love that picture, it's so helpful. So we must continue to invest in our road system. Also in 2023, I want to also acknowledge the voters for their extending our popular sales tax that cares for our parks, trails, and open system that we know as TOPS, and we are committed to being good stewards of our public land and our trail system. All right, homelessness, number 5. So earlier this year, the Pikes Peak Continuum of Care unveiled findings in its 2023 point-in-time survey that showed a continued decline in the overall number of people experiencing homelessness in Colorado Springs. The survey offers both hope and valuable insight into the story of homelessness in the Pikes Peak region. So we reported that about 1,300 people, individuals are still experiencing homelessness in our city, but what's significant about that number is down from over 1,600 in 2016. From that 1,300 number, about 374 still identify as unsheltered, meaning that they're sleeping in the cars and parks, and parks and cars and tents. The other 928 are identified as actually being sheltered at a local homeless nonprofit. That is significant, and that's progress. And here's what the most significant number that I'd like to report is that 740 people who previously experienced homelessness and now are now in permanent housing. That's an all-time high for our city. So we are making progress. We still have work to do, but we are making progress. Okay, I said there was a bonus one. I lied, it's not 5, it's 6, and this one is really important. Successful community engagement strategies. I often say democracy is best served when residents engage in the decision-making process, the decisions that affect their neighborhoods, and we successfully engage over 1,600 residents, police officers, firefighters, city employees, community leaders, all to share the feedback with me. And I want to thank our residents for taking time to provide valuable information that will help shape the work that I do on their behalf. Listening is critical for effective leadership and will continue to be a part of my administration and how we get things done. I have spoken to well over thousands of residents since becoming mayor, making my rounds throughout the city, and I look forward to continue these efforts to ensure that I engage the residents in the decisions that affect them. So since we talked about community engagement, it's a natural lead into what's next. So what's next? What should you be looking forward to in 2024? As you can imagine, we've received a lot of feedback from our residents, and I often tell my team, if we aim for everything, you aim for nothing. So how do we decide what to work on? So there's this concept called strategic doing that I brought to the city. I didn't originate it. It's from Purdue University, the Purdue University's Agile Strategy Lab. And what it does is that it moves plans into actions, measurable actions through collaborations with key stakeholders. And then you go through a process of deciding which items you prioritize. And so we have prioritized a number of items, and strategic doing also really helps us get things done. And if you remember in my inaugural speech, I said, let's get to work. And so strategic doing is all about getting to work. So this work will focus on 5 key areas. So here's what you should look forward to in the new year. So again, these areas are public safety, economic vitality, infrastructure, housing, attainability, and community activation. Many of these areas, these titles are not new. You've heard me talk about it, both as a candidate and now as mayor. If anything, it tells you that there's consistency in the feedback we're hearing from the community. I'll go through these quick, and then and know that in the new year we'll be releasing the full plan with all the action items and a dashboard so that you can follow our progress. But I'll go through these 5 items, and then I'll open it up for questions. Okay, so number 1, under public safety, in 2024, through strategic doing, we will improve response time through staffing and retention of our police officers and improve training efforts with our first responders. We will leverage and implement technology as a force multiplier to improve our public safety efforts and expand our community and behavioral health efforts and safety program, as well as expand our community engagement efforts. Number 2, in the area of economic vitality, we will take action to create an environment that supports tourism, businesses, and job opportunities. We will lean into enhancing the Olympic City USA brand to elevate Colorado Springs and our quality of life and economic development efforts. And the third aspect of this economic vitality is that we will advance our future workforce needs and help grow our local workforce talent through partnership with education, workforce partners, employers, and military. All right, so public safety, economic vitality, now infrastructure. So with infrastructure, expect us to expand efforts that are focused around smart growth policies. Expect us to pursue efforts to continue to expand public and multimodal transportation to help reduce congestion, and also expect us to continue to maintain and sustain our public infrastructure. Number 4, housing attainability. These actions will be focused on initiatives that help remove the barriers to ensure that we can continue to have more attainable and affordable housing. Expect us to leverage regional partnerships to improve housing affordability and to pursue housing innovation solutions. And number 5, and not the least, this is community activation. We will continue to engage our community on key issues that are facing our city. So in this area, expect us to continue to lean into the city's mental health initiatives and the various action items to ensure that we are improving the mental health of our residents. One of the things you should expect us to see the city encourage more volunteerism within our community, and also to encourage more collaboration within the community. You've also heard me talk about 1,000 neighborhood initiative, 1,000 neighborhood block parties initiative. So that's going to be a big one for us in 2024, as well as to expand the digital tools to ensure that we are engaging our residents. Resident engagement is really important to me, as you continue to hear me say. As I conclude this portion of the press briefing, please know that all 5 items, I want to remind you that all 5 items have been shaped by the community. These were items that we received from the community through the listening tours in all 6 districts, and we also did a virtual listening tours. These were items that were shaped by engaging over 300 firefighters and police officers, as well as other team members. And so we've taken all these items and think of it, we've put it through a funnel, and we've identified what the top items that we can act on behalf of our city. Expect that dashboard with key performance indicators, all of that you will have in January. So stay tuned for these exciting initiatives and on the lookout. We do have so much to be thankful for. And while the enduring challenges remain, they do remain, and that's what I signed up for as mayor, is to help take on those challenges and to solve those problems. So while those challenges are still there, please know that the future of our city is great. And it really is bright. To end on a high note, I am pleased to share with you that earlier this month, Colorado Springs was named the seventh, not ninth, seventh most caring city in the country by Wallet Hub. This is a nod to our compassionate spirit. It's connected. Data sets are connected to the number of sheltered homeless people living in our city, and I reference that. The data sets are also connected to volunteerism and also generosity. To put it into perspective, I participated in the Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign, which is an annual holiday tradition. You know, you ring the bells out in the cold, you wear that Santa hat. Loved it. But this is to support our community members in need. When I say our community members, I am thinking about our homeless residents. To put it into perspective, the Red Kettle campaign given average in the Pikes Peak region is $60 an hour compared to the rest of the country, which is $23 an hour. So yes, we do deserve that recognition as one of the most caring cities. So let's continue that work. Friends, this is a season of hope. It's a season of celebration. It's a season of reflection. It's a season of rebirth. I'm so excited and proud to be the mayor of this great city. If I keep talking about it, I'm going to tear up, but I'm humbled every day. And I have the best job in the world. And I get to work with some fantastic team members and city council members who equally share my desire to make this a world-class American city. So my sincere wishes for a happy, healthy, and blessed holiday season for all our residents. Thank you. Questions?
Mayor, you talked about needs assessment for the new police academy training center. What do you need to know that you don't already know?
That's a great question. There's a lot that we know. We know that we need to double the size. We know that we're limited in capacity. We know that we need to offer more innovative training. We know that we need to continue leveraging technology for our training needs. We could figure it out on our own, Scott, but ultimately there's wisdom in bringing an outside consultant to take a look at things with fresh eyes, because perhaps there might be a thing or two that we have not considered. So we will compare what we do know we need with what this outside consultant company is going to tell us that in terms of assessment of where we're at and where we need to be.
They're not here. The consultant hasn't started yet. You're bringing them in like kind of now, or
no? The work is. So what I will be getting by the end of this week is the needs assessment. So the consultant, we've engaged them. They've been doing this work over the last few months in terms of the needs assessment.
How expensive is that?
I don't know. Do we have an amount of what we paid for the consultant? If you're interested in that, we're happy to get that information to you. Vanessa's writing it down. Okay.
In terms like with what you mentioned about public safety and taking on challenges as a mayor and everything, what are the future plans that you have, I guess, with working with the police as well as the community in terms of Dorchester Park and everything, with the multiple busts that have happened, the felons, other things that go on, especially felons who experience homelessness as well. What are some of the future plans you guys are working on with that going?
Yeah, when it comes to addressing homelessness and crime, it's always a two-pronged approach. It's downstream and upstream. A lot of the work that we deliver well in the city is around the downstream. So this is the the responding to 911 calls, and we want to keep getting better at that. This is when I say downstream, this is activating our HOT team, which is the homeless outreach team under the leadership of the police department. So they are uniquely qualified to deal with some of the more dangerous issues. But we also have the homeless outreach program. These are compassionate team members who lean into the behavioral and the mental health side of the job, and that's a little bit more upstream. So expect us for now to continue to prioritize cleanups, increase presence, because it's a safety issue for many of our residents. Expect us to prioritize some of those activities. But ultimately, what we need and what our city need and what I've asked for my chief housing officer and vitalities officer, Steve Posey, is that the city does a refresh of our long-term homeless strategic plan. We had a strategic plan under Mayor John Souther's leadership, and I feel like we've executed on that plan. And as time goes on, the needs change or evolve, and so we want to make sure that our plan reflects the needs of today. So that's also what we're working on.
And what would also be required, I guess, in a sense, from the community and the city to help make further those things to progress Colorado Springs to where it's at, and to help areas such as Dorchester Park and everything? Because like you said, it's a dangerous situation. You have teams specialized in that. Is there anything on, I guess, the city or the community's part that would also be involved as well?
That's a great question. It's a all hands on deck approach. So where I depend on the community is to be our eyes and ears and report things. So when there's an activity, please report it as soon as possible. And it's not even just limited to homeless or what we've considered like dangerous activity. This is also potholes and just needs in the city in general. Our Go COS app is a wonderful platform to report the needs. So we do depend on the community to report as quickly as possible what they see, and my team will prioritize those response.
Mayor, what's your timetable for the police training facility? Do you have a timetable for when you'd like to have a location picked out and exactly what you want out of it? And then have you also finalized the cost for that facility?
My timetable was yesterday. If I had a wave a magic wand, we would have this done already. The need is timely. The need is today. You heard me talk about 4 training academies. As we try to execute on that, understand that we still have a challenge with the space, and we still have to look to local partners to figure out how we can share space with them. So the need is today. And keep in mind too that it also presents a challenge for just the ongoing training for my current officers, because it's not a one and done thing. It's upon us to ensure that we're keeping that level of excellence and training up to date. And so what to expect in 2024, if I was to tell you what we're going to accomplish in 2024, my hope would be that we've identified a location, we have a space, whether it's a new property, whether that's an existing space. And also I can tell you that my hope is that we have some designs and plans in place to start so when we are ready, we can start. When we're ready to break ground, we've already done the pre-work around that. So I don't know if we will break ground in 2024 in terms of, I'm thinking of a realistic timeline, but my hope is that we do have identified a location as well as some tangible plans that we can share with the community.
Mayor, I also wanted to ask about your wife's involvement, as you mentioned early on, about her being involved in mental health as it relates to homelessness and whatnot. Haven't heard anything about that lately. So where does that stand? Is that still happening? When's it going to happen? Can you tell us a little more about that?
Right. There's a lot of work that is happening behind the scene that is not in the public eye. My wife and Councilmember Line Weber, Thomas Thompson, who's with my Office of Community Affairs, and I are continually meeting with community leaders and partners, and we're working on a community-wide strategic plan that will hopefully help shape the activities over the next 4 to 8 years in terms of how we respond to homelessness. We are also trying to pursue meaningful legislation and see how we can support and I, along with potentially two of the mayors of the other two largest Colorado cities, Aurora and Denver, to come to band and use our collective bully pulpit to also shine light on the need for mental health, better mental health care, and also the lack of facility that we have in our state. So there's a lot of work happening behind the scenes, and what we want to do is ensure that when we go public, we have something that is concrete and tangible that we can share with the community. But the biggest thing that I believe the community can join forces with us is the 1,000 Neighborhood Block Party initiative. That's gaining a lot of traction. People have already started hosting block parties. We're already hearing the stories. While we're trying to solve some of the bigger solutions around mental health, I do believe where it's going to make the biggest difference is neighbors knowing each other, neighbors caring for each other, moving people out of isolation into community. And that's what the 1,000 Neighborhood Initiative is intended to do.
What kind of background in mental health, or just a personal interest of hers?
It's sort of both. Yeah, she's actually she's a nurse, and she's a healthcare provider. She's a nursing educator. One of the reasons why this is passionate, where we're both passionate about it, is because it's also personal. My oldest, who we were blessed and fortunate to adopt from Ethiopia, he's a trauma-informed child, and we have struggled locally to find help. To help care for his mental health. We are still struggling. And I'm getting emotional about this one. It's an everyday challenge. We didn't know, and this we're talking a family that has influence, a family that knows people, and we still have challenge. And we had to pay a lot of money out of pocket to even find a psychiatrist and help diagnose some of the issues, but also some of the potential solutions. So it's personal. It's personal because we've had a close friend, dear and near to our family, almost take their life. My wife, in the middle of the night, had to leave and go help, and I had to care for the kids. So we're experiencing this on a real time. From a personal perspective. So we want to leverage our own personal challenges to help others in the city.
Mayor, you mentioned the 4 training academies that are happening in 2024, which was one of the selling points for 2A, right? So you're also talking about this needs assessment. You're not slowing down, you're still moving forward.
Right.
What do you say to people of the community who are critical of 1A or 2A, that you didn't really need our money, you didn't really need our support, you didn't need, or you don't know because the needs assessment is coming now,
Right.
You didn't know that was what you needed?
Right. Some of that criticism is valid. I'm not saying no or pushing back against it. We didn't, in a perfect world, I'd be asking them for maybe the money in November 2024. I did not want to miss out on the opportunity to save our taxpayers' dollars. That's what that was for me. We did need to get the needs assessment. We had an idea. We have a good idea of what we need, but ultimately, being prudent is ensuring that you have extra set of eyes to also tell you, because you don't know what you don't know. But we had almost $5 million in revenue, excess revenue. That it was an opportunity for me to save the city $5 million, because decisions like this fall on the mayor's desk. It's upon me to deliver on our community's public safety needs and realities. So what 2A would have given us is an opportunity to save the city money. It's all taxpayers' money. It's all taxpayer, and we want to be good stewards of taxpayer money. So that's what 2A was about good stewardship. And the voters said no, and so we will still implement good stewardship in trying to pay for that space that is needed, much needed.
And what are you looking forward to position Colorado Springs for as the legislature?
That's a great one, because that's happening in real time. There is, in fact, on Friday I'll be meeting with key department members to collect some of the specifics. But expect our legislative priorities from the city side to be in those 4 areas: so housing, infrastructure, public safety, and economic vitality. Because if that's where the pain points are, that's where the needs of the community, that's where we want to deliver on. So we are actively meeting with our local representatives. We're actively meeting with other partners to compare notes with the county, with the chamber and EDC, and also ultimately our own priorities will be very city, Colorado Springs centric. So those 4 areas, those 4 priorities, in terms of some of the specifics, we are ironing those out. When it comes to housing, construction defect reform continues to remain a top priority for me. I'm happy to see that there's some work around a possible bill. That is my last meeting with a couple of representatives. They updated me that there is a possible bill that will be put forward. Understand that those entry-level housing is a pain point for our city. This is why we need more entry-level housing. So specific initiatives like those will be pursuing also in the area of public safety as well. So those are not finalized. In my perfect world, though, this still feels like we're playing defense. I want to play offense because what happens is that we're about to go into legislative session January 10th, and I plan on being there at the Capitol on the first day. But understand that many of our legislators are already decided what they want to pursue. My hope is that next year we do a little bit more offense than defense, but we will do our best to still get our legislative priorities in front of them. I am proud of just the fantastic leadership we have around that with Ryan Trujillo, Sally Clark, and the collaboration we have also with the other cities too, to ensure that we are leveraging our collective bully pulpit to make a statement. Brian, nothing? Thank you all, and happy holidays.